Welcome to the voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL, 950 AM, 100.3 FM. You can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. And don't forget our own parish website at stanthonyalston.org. ST means saint, StAnthonyAlston.org. Well, we're going to have our third of our three parts of our interview with T. Michael Thomas. He is the founder of the People's Academy. You can find them at peoplesacademyinc.org. That's peoplesacademyinc.org. And he's going to talk to us about the mechanics of this program that gives people sustainability and gets them off the street, out of gangs, and helps to build the confidence of their humanity. So let's switch over right now to the final part of our wonderful interview with T. Michael Thomas and the People's Academy. Well, you're understanding something that is not well understood, I think, in a lot of places, we'll say outside of the city, and that is the importance of building opportunity for so many people, and what happens if you don't build the opportunity, then they fall through the cracks.
Correct. And then it has a ripple effect, because then it costs the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. It have an impact on the family members, on the community, and the economy. That's why I tell folks what we're doing, it's a benefit to family, community, and economy. And the number one thing is it saves God's greatest creation, humanity.
Yes, that's
we have to ask ourselves, for those people who always respect clergy, well, is that something that God would approve of them seeing a person is striving to do for themselves or to uplift humanity, and you wouldn't give them a hand?
In light of that, I think a lot of people do not understand the connection between lack of opportunity and all the issues that comes from that lack of opportunity, either because of not having the resources, and as you're doing, vocational education or other forms of education. And what happens is, again, that they fall through the cracks. And well, we're seeing this right now in the story of the man who died on the subway train. And there is a bigger story that revolves around that. And part of it is his family was begging for the resources to help this guy, and no one was there to help him. They didn't have the resources. And he actually apparently is schizophrenic, so that he needed some really serious mental health intervention. And people don't understand all those connections. And if you're listening to the story, you're hearing nothing more than he was in prison, therefore, basically, what do you expect? He was in prison.
And that's their ignorance, and that's the thing. But for them to even say the resource, the resource, they refuse to give the resources, mm-hmm. because the city government and the state and the federal are in possession of resources. When let something happens in other places, and they could come up with it overnight with the click of a finger, because we have to remember something. People mm-hmm. don't stop paying taxes. They don't stop printing money, mm-hmm. but they value certain lives more than others. And like I'm saying, when I sit there and I hear people talk about religion and spirituality, mm-hmm. it's nauseating to me, because I tell them, like my mother always told me, God don't sleep. And you don't treat people like that. You do unto others as you like them to do unto you. Mm-hmm. And if you can help someone, you help them like you would for yourself. And it doesn't take a lot to help someone. But again, like you all know, and I'm preaching to the choir, the road to negativity is wider than the road to righteousness. And they can all sit there and they can all fool themselves, but they can't fool the man upstairs. None of them can.
Well, one of the things I can bring up, of course, maybe I'm coming from a different perspective, is I learned about your program at that meeting of faith-based leaders with Kevin Hayden, the district attorney. And, he wanted to get us all together to talk about some of the needs and exactly some of the issues you're talking about. And he also brought out, what did he say, that when someone is shot in the city, it ultimately costs the city somewhere around almost $500,000, something like that.
Absolutely.
So here we are talking about ways to prevent that, but how, a simple question, and I know you've had the interviews and stuff, but how many people do not know the dynamics and do not know the program?
Like I'm saying, we've been on the History Channel, Modern Marvels.
Yeah.
We've been on Channel 5. It's Channel 4 from February to the middle of March has ran an interview on this program.
Mm-hmm. I got to look that up.
Right? Mm-hmm. Not only that, every elected official from Menino to Deval Patrick to Baker, they all have met me, to Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, Ayanna Pressley. They all know of this program. They all know who T. Michael is.
Good.
And yet still, they look the other way. What I'm saying is, God works in mysterious ways. And those folks who predicted about the David and Goliath story, I'm seeing it unfold, because we have everything that can address. With the jobs plan that we have, we could save the prison industries at $80 billion. If they invest into what we're doing, we could save the American taxpayers between $15 to $25 billion in the span of 20 years or so. They don't.
So when you're talking about saving like $25 million, $1 billion, how would? Yeah, no, I corrected myself. How would that happen?
Well, we have shovel-ready projects. We would work with the city, the state, the residential sector that we've been working with, that creating jobs. We have a manufacturing piece that's how I pay for it. Mm-hmm. Producing building materials, home good, fashion, different things. And that would stimulate the economy. So you're doing high quality at a low cost with the labor of the local residents. All these buildings are in decay. Instead of paying the union, say $120 an hour, you're paying these people $30 and $60 an hour. They're contributing back to the economy. They're putting up the property value. You tap into the recidivism, the homelessness, the joblessness, etc., street violence. That's when you start cutting the cost, and it goes back into your pocket. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a no-brainer.
But I could see that if you, just what you were saying, if you're going to offer a job that is non-union at $60 an hour, the unions are going to raise a flag.
No, well, they won't. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the union could only compete in the commercial sector.
Oh, and this is non-commercial.
Then you have the residential sector. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. The union will not go into the residential sector because the wages is too low.
Oh, okay. So you're not fighting the union. You're working in a different. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Not only that, it's a compliment to the union, because there were certain people when Mike Walsh was alive, no relation to Marty Walsh or Joe Joyce, Frank Kiley, people like that. I had a pipeline that I used to get folks in the union that way. You have those guys retired, new people get elected, and they have a totally different arrogant attitude. So then they shut the doors. They're like, no, I'm not letting anyone this kid recommend. So a lot of people then go to the non-union sector. But when the union is short, they used to come to me and said, hey, kid, do you have anyone you can recommend? We could get in a couple of your guys. So then you say, sure, here you go. Mm-hmm. So it's a win for the union as well. It's work they don't want to do. Mm-hmm. It's the small jobs.
Right. And the union...
It has to be done.
The union really focuses on the larger jobs, as you said, the commercial
Correct.
jobs. Okay.
Yes. The big buildings downtown. But if you, in your home, you can't afford to hire someone with a union rate. So you'll hire the non-union guy.
Let me go back one, then in light of that. So someone here will say is listening to the program, needs a gutter job done. Could they call you?
Absolutely. That's how I pay for the program.
And that was T. Michael Thomas. And T. Michael Thomas is the head of the People's Academy, and it's located in Boston, Massachusetts. You can find them at peoplesacademyinc.org. That's peoplesacademyinc.org. And he talked to us about his program. And what he brought up, as I said, I actually met him at a faith-based leaders meeting that was put together by the district attorney in Boston, Kevin Hayden. But one of the things he brought up is the importance of making sure people do not fall through the cracks, and through different trades and different qualities that people have, you help to build their confidence and you help to build their ability to be productive citizens. And as he says, trades, not triggers. Similar to nothing stops a bullet like a job. Really good ideas. We're going to be back tomorrow with Father Adriano Zandana. In the meantime, thanks again to T. Michael Thomas. Have a blessed day. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out catholictv.com. If you would like to support our program, please consider a donation to St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. There are several ways to consider this. One is to purchase any of our merchandise, which you can find at the shopping tab at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. There are coffee mugs there. There's also my latest book, Encounter Christ in Your Humanity, all of which you can find at the shopping tab at CatholicAudiomedia.com. You can also donate to the show directly through either the Donate tab, also at CatholicAudiomedia.com, or by sending a donation through the U.S. Postal Service with your questions and comments at 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. That's St. Anthony Parish, 43 Holton Street, Allston, Massachusetts, 02134. Finally, the best way you can support our parish is to attend Mass on Sundays at 10 o'clock and be a part of our parish. We thank you for any support you would like to give to St. Anthony Parish in Allston, Massachusetts, the sponsoring parish for this media outreach to Catholics and other Christians in the WROL, WEZE, and podcast listening audience. In Cristo vivimos.